a lot of our focus is on the idea that most growers will acknowledge they can find at least one thing they can do better. But the question is, how do you find that? Obviously, they're doing the best that they know how, or they wouldn't be doing it. But what we're trying to do is say, how can they find that one thing that's better? And we're trying to get them to use a lot more of these newer technologies to get feedback. And so they can find out if what they're doing is really optimal. You know, at the end of the day, you can have the best plan, but was that plan right?
Precision agriculture is increasing profitability and efficiency, and the technology is easier to use than ever before. Dr. Tracy Blackmer heads the On-Farm Network, a program of the Iowa Soybean Association. It focuses on precision agriculture tools and technology to collect information that can increase grower profits. We talked to him about the program.
We now have a lot of equipment. We can very accurately go out and we can apply the wrong amount of anything anywhere. And so as people are kind of evaluating, they know their fields are variable. They know that management spatially makes sense. But they're also finding out that in many circumstances, we just can't apply a 30-year-old recommendation spatially and expect to make money. So what we've done is we've tried to say, okay, here's an example of how you can determine whether you had the right rate or the right practice. So let's say, are you using the right fertilizer rate? Well, obviously, if your yields are really low, you know something isn't right. But the reality is your last 50 pounds of nitrogen in corn comes down to a 5-bushel difference. That yield can vary because of the hybrid, the difference in soil. You know, they can vary by a lot of different factors. But how do you know it was just the nitrogen rate itself? And so we put strips in the same field holding all the other factors the same. But then we also get other growers to do the same type of trials all over the state or even in other states. So we can say, okay, what are we seeing for the potential for improvement? And in 2004, Iowa State University went out and interviewed a bunch of our growers. And of the growers that have done these evaluations for at least 2 years, over 80% of them decided to change what they were doing based on what they were seeing. They were able to turn around and say, all right, by seeing what we're doing, we can see the potential for improvement. We know how to move. We're willing to do that. Now, we don't push the recommendations. We just say it's worth evaluating, and here's how you can do it. So we don't really suggest comparing the yield of one field to another. We don't suggest just doing half the field one way and half the other. We like to do replicated strips, or depending on the design, there's other tools you can use. So a lot of the remote sensing tools are very helpful. But we'd like to say, whatever your plan is, was your plan right? And that's kind of a different viewpoint than a lot of programs.
Learn more about how you can make Precision Ag work by visiting precisionagworks.com.